Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Kiani, your first host on the Echo. And as a matter of fact, I was the guy behind the whole idea of having a channel for you, the Echo, the information that they don't want you to know. Um, I'm sending this video from California, Irvine, California. Right now, I'm here in search of um, a way to expand our information so more people like you can have access to the right information and not the one that has been censored and manipulated by the mainstream media. As you know, my dear friend Derek Foster is the new host of the Echo. Great job, Derek. Thank you so very much for what you're doing. Derek is not getting paid for what he's doing. So the only incentive that he would have is your support. So please support Derek and your show, The Echo. So as you know, even though I'm an American, but I was born in Iran, Tehran, and recently, as you know, uh, there is a possibility that the United States would go to war with the Islamic regime or Iran. Well, um, let me distinguish two things. First of all, United States of America is not going to war with Iran, but as a matter of fact, the minority uh, leeches are going to war with Iran. Why I'm calling them leeches? Because they're not doing anything. You are the producers. You are people who produce things and create things. Either you're a worker, or you're a teacher, or you're an inventor, engineer. Doesn't matter. You're doing the real job. All they do is giving you sweet talks and do nothing, empty promises and manipulating. That is not a job. That is um, job of a parasite. A parasite does that. Um, a leech would do that, suck your blood, not producing anything. So number two, um, Iran Iran has a greater meaning. Iran is not that piece of land that you see in Middle East between Iraq and Afghanistan, Persian Gulf, and Caspian Sea. Iran has a history of uh, running a global empire, pretty much like what we have in the United States today. But unfortunately, a bunch of fanatic people with the support of those people who are running our country, United States, took over that country. You might ask how and why some people in the U.S. government would support a government and a regime like the Islamic regime. Well, it's a very, very familiar situation. It's called problem, reaction, solution. Uh, for instance, as you know, and you have noticed, uh, the 9/11 was an inside job. I mean, at least you would believe that a building like building number 7 wouldn't collapse on its own, you know. And there was no reason, no plane hit the building number 7, and building number 7 just collapsed right in front of our eyes, just like the demolition that you see in Las Vegas or the rest of the world. But why? a government or people inside of the government would do such thing. But it's very, I mean, the answer is very easy. Um, because if you have noticed, after 9/11, they took away uh, lots of rights that we have. They took away uh, lots of freedom that we have. Now, the TSA at the airport can rope you and your wife and your children uh, just by mentioning the terrorism or terrorists, and they can label you a terrorist right there if you object or if you ask a question. Um, Otherwise, you have to go through that. Uh, I call it death tunnel. What they call the X-ray machine, I call it death tunnel, and get cancer and die eventually. So it's all about control. It's about controlling you. Um, the age of physical labor is over. They found ways to use machine and robots, and they want to replace you with the new technology. It's all about that, nothing personal. So now they want to say, hey, okay, first of all, we need to get rid of 95% of the Earth population because we don't need you anymore. We can, I mean, the robots can make our cars, the robot can do everything for us. And if by any chance we need any form of human being, it should be in form of robot too, meaning uh, they should be totally under control. They don't want um, unpredictable uh, human beings. They want us to obey. Obey um, is a big word to them. And so basically, what they're doing right now is creating problems such as 9/11, such as, you know, telling you that there are weapons of mass destructions in Iraq. And, you know, and in that case, the case of the weapons of mass destruction, the problem the problem was a fictional problem. Well, you know, they never found it because they never existed. That never existed. The only time that Iraq had access to weapons of mass destruction was the time that United States and Europe sold Iraq the weapons of mass destruction. After war, there was no reason. So as you can see, they are getting ready for another case of problem, reaction, solution. That's the Hegelian dialectic. So what they want to do this time is, as you know, Ayatollahs and mullahs are basically being uh, placed over there in that part of the world by the man behind the closed doors. Many years ago, 1979, you probably don't remember, you just heard it from your mainstream media that Shah was a bad guy and blah, blah, blah. In comparison to even the free world, Shah was a saint. The leaders of the free world, I'm talking about. And not only he was not a bad guy, but also he was a fantastic leader. He was a great diplomat. He knew what he was doing. He was for modernism. He was for construction rather than destruction. He created a nation that they would never ever go back to the way they were, meaning Iranians, out of nothing. And he did that out of nothing. Like, he just created such a great country that even today Ayatollahs cannot basically send it back to the Middle Age. So even they tried very hard. Believe me, they tried very hard, but it's impossible. Once the process of progress starts in a country, it's very hard to, you know, slow it down or, you know, send it back to the way that it was. So anyway, lots of people say, so what's going on? What's going on? Well, Those people, meaning Ayatollahs over there, don't have any mission than give an excuse to the men behind the closed doors to attack Iran. You might want to ask yourself, why Iran? Uh, because everything that they do is symbolic. Even why they pick 9/11, the number 9 and 11 is very symbolic to them, to the man behind the closed doors, because they believe in esoteric meaning of everything. They're not like you and me. We believe, in the physical wars the way that they are, but they are not. They look at everything as some sort of symbol or abstract. Um, so the other thing is that I wanted to mention, they also believe that Iran uh, not only was the previous superpower, but also uh, it was like the leader of the old world, meaning the uh, old order, basically. Because, like I said, once upon a time was the global empire, uh, but it was a very different global empire. Uh, Iran as an empire was not forcing or imposing its ideas on its new countries, new nations. What Iran did was basically, okay, you're a part of us, we respect your ideas, and as a matter of fact, we support the local authorities, religions, uh, your culture. We promote that. We promote your culture. We promote your uh, political beliefs. But you're a part of us. That means you have access to the service that we give to the whole empire. So it was a good thing, actually. As a matter of fact, lots of countries wanted to be a part of Persian Empire because they felt freer. Under their own rulers, they didn't feel free, this free. So anyway, so they want to get rid of that mentality of respect, and mentality of you're free, mentality of individualism. They want to get rid of that idea, and Iran is a symbol of that. Iran, uh, like I said, was the previous global empire. So they want to get rid of the old order and replace it with new order. What is the new order? The slavery, the control, the just shutting up, just do what we are asked you to do and shut up and be thankful of just breathing. Otherwise, with pushing one button, we can end your life, because they're gonna computer chip you and your children. It's coming up, but first, they need to make this a chaotic situation by attacking Iran as a symbol of the old world. They want to get rid of the old world, Iran as the symbol of the old world, and Persian stories, Persian civilization, Persian history. They want to get rid of all that things. You know, so but at the same by the same token, at the same time, they want to establish this chaotic situation through Iran, because once they attack Iran, then Russia and China probably want to get involved, even maybe not militarily, but maybe behind the scene. So there you have it. It's chaotic. It's the World War III, and usually, if you study World War I, World War II, what happened actually after that chaotic those chaotic wars, what they did, they created problem, then they saw people's reaction. People's reaction was like, come on, enough is enough, you're tired of wars, what can we do to reach to the global peace? And then they offered their solution, which was United Nations. So it was a stepping stone, basically, a process, because this time it's not Nations, it's the global government, with the global bank, with the global currency, which is actually virtual currency. So what they are going to do after this World War III, which is like totally chaotic and crazy, because you're going to see nuclear wars and things like that. They're going to say, hey, here's the solution. The solution is global peace through the global government. So But are they going to win? I don't think so. This is what they haven't seen. This is based on their stupid calculation, mathematical calculation, and the stars and the movements, sacred geometry, and blah blah blah, Kabbalism and things like that. And let me tell you one thing: they stole those ideas from the Magi, but I don't want to get into that. But what they didn't see was between the lines. They forgot